So this section from Calvin is pretty much the same discussion that's going on in the modern day. Book 3, Chapter 11, Section 19. The reader now perceives with what fairness the sophists of the present day cavil at our doctrine when we say that a man is justified by faith alone. He cites Romans 4:2. They dare not deny that he is justified by faith, seeing Scripture so often declares it, but as the word alone is nowhere expressly used, they will not tolerate its being added. Is it so? What answer then will they give to the words of Paul when he contends that righteousness is not of faith unless it be gratuitous? How can it be gratuitous and yet by works? By what cavils, moreover, will they evade his declaration in another place that in the gospel the righteousness of God is manifested? Romans 1:17. If righteousness is manifested in the gospel, it is certainly not a partial or mutilated, but a full and perfect righteousness. The law, therefore, has no part in it, and their objection to the exclusive word alone is not only unfounded, but obviously absurd. Does he not plainly enough attribute everything to faith alone when he disconnects it with works? What I would ask is meant by the expression, the righteousness of God without the law is manifested, being justified freely by his grace, justified by faith without the deeds of the law. Romans 3:21, 24, and 28. Here they have an ingenious subterfuge, one which, though not of their own devising, but taken from Origen and some ancient writers, is most childish. They pretend that the works excluded are ceremonial, not moral works. Such profit do they make by their constant wrangling that they possess not even the first elements of logic. Do they think the apostle was raving when he produced in proof of his doctrine these passages? The man that does them shall live by them, Galatians 3:12. Cursed is everyone that continueth not in all things that are written in the book of the law to do them, Galatians 3:10. Unless they are themselves raving, they will not say that life was promised to the observers of ceremonies, and the curse denounced only against the transgressors of them. If these passages are to be understood of the moral law, there cannot be a doubt that moral works also are excluded from the power of justifying. To the same effect are the arguments which he employs. By the deeds of the law thou shalt no flesh be justified in his sight, for by the law is the knowledge of sin, Romans 3:20. The law worketh wrath, Romans 4:15, and therefore not righteousness. The law cannot pacify the conscience, and therefore cannot confer righteousness. Faith is imputed for righteousness, and therefore righteousness is not the reward of works, but is given without being due. Because we are justified by faith, boasting is excluded. Had there been a law given which could have given life, verily righteousness should have been by the law. But the Scripture hath concluded all under sin, that the promise by faith of Jesus Christ might be given to them that believe, Galatians 3:21, 22. Let them maintain if they dare that these things apply to ceremonies and not to morals, and the very children will laugh at their effrontery. The true conclusion, therefore, is that the whole law is spoken of when the power of justifying is denied to it. So Calvin is dealing with the same objection that people are making to this day, that faith alone is not explicit scriptural language. Now what he answers is the objection that the only works that are being denied in Romans 4 are ceremonial works, but that's typically not the objection that someone like myself would make. Nor would I ever say that the good moral works of the law are what justifies us, because that's his counter. It's like, well, you can't just say it's just ceremonial because the law condemns everyone for moral works, and no moral works can save you. If we recognize that works of the law of Moses are excluded, that charitable and good works are excluded, that circumcision and ceremonial works are excluded, that doesn't exclude everything other than faith. What's odd is Calvin himself is citing Romans 3 and citing Galatians, where works of the law, deeds of the law, are what's being specified. And then he's treating works in Romans 4 to mean all kinds of works, not just works of the law or ceremonies or things like that. Now, he can call someone names who denies faith alone because it's not explicit. And we can talk about what the word faith means in this passage, how to properly define it, and how to understand what works are being talked about in Romans 4. And I can't speak to whether that's what Catholics were teaching in his day, or if that's what the Catholic Church teaches, or if he's refuting, this straw man of the Catholic Church. But we don't live in this binary. It's either Catholicism or Calvinism. Like, the conversation is still going on and still needs to happen.